My son passed away, 4 months old, of SIDS, and that changed my life. They said that there's still an unknown cause for sudden infant death syndrome, and they don't know the reason. I remember them taking him for an autopsy and the way that they cut him and stuff, and the death certificate did say SIDS, which they told me for me being such a young mom that my son was very healthy.
Well, Amanda, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. I think, how did you reach out? Was it on TikTok? A lot of people have been reaching out on through TikTok. Or no, it was Instagram. Okay, cool. So yeah, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it though. Yeah. And then I read your application, and you have an amazing story. Some things that I think a lot of people can relate to. So I'm looking forward to hearing your story. How this is your first time ever telling your story? Then you said?
Yes.
All right. Well, let's just start out from the beginning then. Where are you from?
I'm from Twin Falls, Idaho, the Buell area.
Okay.
Buell Filer.
Cool. What'd you do down there growing up?
Growing up, we lived out in Castle Ford. We lived on like a little country home where we had cows, chickens, geese. Yeah.
Just the home life?
Yeah.
The
My dad would
country
take
life?
us hunting. It was stuff like that growing up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. What was like your first memory you can remember from just being back in that country life?
It was my 8th birthday.
Yeah.
I got like all the Barbie dolls that I wanted. Like we had this family friend, his name was Octavio. And I remember him giving me $100. My mom taking me to, it was Kmart. And she got me like all the Barbies that I wanted.
Oh yeah.
So it was like my best birthday.
What was childhood like with your family? What did they do for a living?
My dad worked on a dairy. At that time, my mom worked at an Oregon Trail motel. She cleaned rooms. She worked at Subway. My dad was an alcoholic growing up. I wouldn't say like a raging alcoholic, but then he like fell into addiction. And so it was a struggle there for a little bit. My parents used to argue and fight a lot. But my mom was like the needle in the thread that like kept the family together. And grew up seeing my dad in and out of jail a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What was he in jail for?
Alcohol. He got battery. I think he got a possession. Ex-felon with firearms because we were big hunters. I mean, my kids are today too, so.
Yeah. So when was the first time that your dad got locked up that you can remember in your childhood? Or was he just always kind of in and out?
He was kind of always in and out.
Did you go visit him in jail and prison and stuff?
Not prison, but in jail, yeah. My mom would take us. And then he was like on a work release program. So we got to like wake up at 9 o'clock at night, go with my mom to pick him up for work release and take him to the dairy and be excited to go pick him up from the dairy. And then we had to take him back to the county jail there in Twin.
What was that like growing up with your dad being in and out of jail? Did that just become like your normal? Is that just what you figured was kind of a normal thing, or?
At first, I thought it was normal. But like as I got older, it became harder because I hated to see my dad go there.
Was it so every time he got rearrested or something like that, it was hard for you?
Yeah.
Was there ever a time where it just became kind of like, oh, Dad's going back to jail again?
Yeah.
Did he make promises to you like it was the last time he was going to get locked up?
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time he would call us, I promise I'm never coming back here. A couple months later, he's back in.
But it was always because of alcohol then, pretty much?
Yeah.
Either like because he was drunk, he was abusive, or...
Yeah, he'd get drunk, get very verbally abusive. He got a physical abusive with my mom a couple times, along with like my brother Everett once. And then when my dad would drink, he has a mouth. He's 10 foot tall and bulletproof and thinks he runs the world. And so it got him into trouble sometimes.
Get some of that liquid courage?
Yeah.
Yeah. How was your relationship with your dad then?
I was a daddy's little girl.
So you guys were good though? Like he wasn't abusive to you or anything?
No. Nope.
So you were kind of the favorite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still wasn't until I had my daughter. No.
Yeah. Yeah, so how old were you when you had your daughter, you said?
My daughter, I had her in 2011 in prison. But I had my first child when I was 14 in 2002.
Wow. Okay. So that was a small area. It was just kind of like a how does that go down? Like, did you have just like, I don't know, was it dating or?
I guess I would say like there's a big gap with me and my siblings, and I got to
Mhm.
see my sisters going out, having fun, doing stuff, and my parents wanted to be strict with me and say I can't go out with them and stuff. So I started running away from home, started sneaking out of the window. I became more of a chore for them than their daughter. And eventually, the way that they put it to me was I got too far out of control that they just practically let me do whatever. I met this guy at my cousin's wedding and thought we were in love. You know, I was 13 at that time and
How old was he?
19.
Oh wow.
Yeah, there's a huge age gap between me and him. Found out I was pregnant at 13. The state did remove me from my mom because they said that I was just too much, you know, that they were enabling me and stuff like that. They did win the case. I got back home, found out I was pregnant 2 weeks later. And so my parents were trying to emancipate me so that I could get married.
So what was the state taking you away for?
They said that it was an unstable environment for
Was that
me.
because your dad was in and out of jail and your mom was just busy working or
I
what?
think it was more like me being in a relationship with an older guy and him living with us in the household at that time.
Oh, so your parents were totally aware of everything that was going
Yeah,
on then.
yeah.
So what did your parents say about the whole thing with him being 19 and you were 13 and they were just okay with it?
Yeah, because if they weren't okay with it, I probably would have run away to Mexico with them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
So
was
you
that
were
troubled
you were pretty
child.
wild then.
Yeah, yeah.
Dang. So at what point did it switch for you that you started becoming a wild child?
I would have to say, I don't know. I just seen my sisters and my brothers going out and stuff, and they were having fun, and I had to be stuck at home, and so I wanted to be more like them. It
Were
was
you the
like
youngest?
I'm the youngest girl.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that made you kind of more the rebellious one then?
yeah.
Okay.
And then I thought, oh, I could just get away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you find out that you're pregnant at 13 years old. What's going through your mind at that point?
I was scared. I was really scared. I was scared to tell my parents. Um, I didn't tell my mom. I had him tell my mom on the phone. I was like, hey, Rosenda wants to talk to you. And my mom's like, okay. And he's like, she's pregnant, and hung up. And then it left me to deal with my mom at the kitchen table. And so she just cried and she's like, I don't know what we're going to do. Tell your dad, you know. I remember telling my dad, and my dad came into my room. And I think it was like the very first time that me and my dad had like the heart to heart conversation. And he sat on my bed and he just told me, he's all like, you're young and sex kills. And I want you to know I'm going to raise this baby as your brother or sister. And I was like, no, you're not. And he's like, well, then you're going to grow up real fast.
So your dad wanted to raise it as his own, not your own?
Yeah, he wanted me to finish school. He wanted me to live my childhood. He did talk to me about getting an abortion and stuff. And he's like, I don't believe in that. And I was like, neither do I. I was like, I'm keeping this baby. And so,
So there's nothing even on the table about like the statutory rape or anything like that because of such a big age gap,
no,
or that's
I
wild.
was really a problem child. I was like, told my parents, like, you guys do anything to Rosendo, I promise you, you'll never see me again. I
Oh, so
was,
you're holding that over their head.
yeah.
Dang.
And I kind of knew I'd get away with it just knowing the fact that I was daddy's little girl.
What
So
would you
I
have done
kind
if
of
they
took that to like an extreme.
So you would have definitely ran away. Said you were going to go to Mexico?
Yeah,
That was the plan if they weren't accepting?
absolutely.
Dang, at 13 years
At
old.
13.
Jeez.
Yeah.
What was he doing? Did he have money coming in or
He
was
works
he
at a dairy.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
At least he had some money, but geez, still 13 years old and you're ready to become an adult.
yeah. It was scary.
Wow.
I remember like a couple days before my wedding, we had a bonfire out at our house, and my dad's like,
So you got married then too?
yeah.
Okay.
I got married. See, my birthday's August 11th, 8 days after my 14th birthday.
Jeez. What was that like getting married at 14?
I mean, at the time, looking at it, I thought I was like a princess. You know what I mean? Like living my dream life, but really I wasn't.
What was that like for your parents just trying to plan a wedding for a 14-year-old before you even had a sweet 16?
My mom really didn't speak on her feelings. I remember having the bonfire, my dad telling me, like, you don't have to do this. You really don't have to get married. My Aunt Bonnie and my Uncle Sam, the day of the wedding, they drove me to Jerome, and my uncle's like, we could just turn around and drive to my house. Like, you really don't need to get married. You're young. And I was like, nope, it's what I want to do. Take me. Yeah.
So how does that happen? Your parents have to sign paperwork saying that you're able to get married as a minor?
Yeah, we took it to a couple judges, and the judges would deny it. And then the same judge that gave me back to my parents in the CPS case plan is the same judge that signed for me to get married.
Dang.
Yeah, it was a process.
What do you think would have happened if that judge didn't give you back to your parents?
I was scared that they were going to take my other siblings from my parents. The health and welfare would.
Were they also problem kids too, or was it just you?
No, they were pretty good kids.
Dang.
Yeah.
So you get married at 14. You're pregnant. It's like a shotgun wedding then. You haven't had the baby yet, right? When you get
No.
married? So then what happens? You guys move in together? I mean, you said that he was already living with you guys then, correct?
Yeah. So then we eventually moved out of my parents' house. I remember it was before Christmas because we had our first little apartment. It was a duplex out in Castleford that we got together. And then we'd eventually moved out of there into like a bigger house. My sister Rebecca, with her oldest child, her Nan, and I were very, very, very close to this day. We're still very close. And she fell into like addiction and all this other stuff. So I took her Nan in to live with me and my ex-husband at the time and raised him as our own for a long time.
Were you still going to school or anything at this time, or
No, I
did you
dropped out.
you just dropped out at 13 or 14?
14.
Was that 8th grade?
6th grade
6th
in
grade?
Castleford.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It would have been 7th, but I was held back.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're raising your child and you're raising somebody else's child?
Yeah. He was 5 years old when he came to live with us.
Wow. You grew up real quick.
Yeah.
How was your life for like the substances at this point in your life? Were you drinking or anything?
No.
So you were just still just good to go?
Yeah. There was like one time. So I remember seeing my dad and my cousin smoke pot in the garage. Like, this is a lame story, but me and my brother Everett, we thought that hay was marijuana. And so we rolled up hay in a paper and we smoked it and we thought we were stoned, but it was just hay from the cows.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So how was life then after you move into your own place? You have a child, you're raising a 5-year-old, and you're married at 14 years old.
Yeah. It was pretty fun. I got to like experience more of like a mom world with her Nan. Like put him into the Castleford preschool program, get him registered for like kindergarten and stuff like that. Like having that one-on-one time with my nephew, who to this day I love as my own child.
How long were you guys living in that house before you had your kid?
We were living there for 3 months.
Okay. Wow. It's just so crazy to think of like that my oldest daughter is like 11 and 3 years from now she would be married and having a kid, and
Yeah, I look at my
that's
daughter
crazy to think.
too, and I'm like, you better not. You better not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you talked to your mom like about this after the fact of like what she was thinking about this whole thing, seeing her youngest daughter going through all this?
No, we really just
It is what it is.
after everything happened with my son and me and Rosendo got divorced, I turned to addiction at that time. And so we just never really brought it up.
So what was it that happened with your son then?
My son passed away at 4 months old of SIDS, and that changed my life.
Did they ever find out anything that could have caused it or anything?
They said that there's still an unknown cause for sudden infant death syndrome. And they don't know the reason. I remember them taking him for an autopsy and the way that they cut him and stuff, and the death certificate did say SIDS, which they told me for me being such a young mom that my son was very healthy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So 4 months old. I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
How did you deal with that?
Drugs.
Just right away, or did it take a
Yeah.
little bit of time and then?
So about a week after his funeral, my ex-husband introduced me into meth.
How was he processing the whole thing?
We became very distant. He was gone more from the home. I stayed home with Hernan. And I remember talking to him like, hey, Hernan's asking, like, where's his baby brother at? Like, when's he coming home? Are we going back to the doctors to pick him up? And I'd ask him for help, and he's all like, I just don't want to talk about it.
Wow.
And then he became very, like, mentally abusive at that time.
What would he do?
I remember having a bunch of pictures up, like, where our fireplace was. And he came home and he's all like, he's gone. You need to let him be gone. Took all his pictures down, told me and Hernan to stop talking about him, that it was, better that we don't speak of him anymore. And I think looking back on it, it's probably because it hurt him, knowing that his baby passed away too, He wasn't just mine, he was ours.
Yeah. So he just didn't allow any time for grieving at all?
No.
How did you process that then for the whole grieving process? Did you just sweep it under the rug and you just turn to drugs then, or?
Yeah, one night he came home and I was crying really bad and he's all like, what's wrong? And I was like, I just miss my baby. I just miss him. And I was holding Hernan and then he told me that we should do something. And he asked if we could take my mom, Hernan, to my parents' house for a little bit. And so I called my mom and my dad, and I was like, hey, do you guys want to watch Hernan for the night? My mom's like, yeah. I was like, Rosendo and I are going to go do something. But we took him to my mom and dad's house, and we went right back home. And that's when I did meth for the first time.
Wow.
Yeah.
How does that go down? Did he not tell you what you guys were going to be doing?
No, I thought we were going like on a little date thing.
And then you guys go back home and then he introduces you to meth.
Yeah.
Did you know that he was a user?
I didn't.
Wow. And so what was going through your mind then when he introduces you to
that? He just told me it's going to help. And so I was like, okay, I'll try it, I didn't like it the first night. And then a couple nights later, I asked him if he had more. I was like, maybe I did it wrong, and he did. And so then I started just doing it on a regular basis.
What was it like your first time trying meth?
I got really sick. I remember feeling like my lungs burnt. I puked. It was just horrible. The worst experience. I should have just stopped then, but I'm like, maybe I did it wrong. Maybe I need to redo that.
How long did it last for you? Did you have any effects of it after that first time? Like, were you high or did you, I don't know how that works.
I didn't sleep the whole next day or the whole next night. And yeah, I started like getting scared and he told me it was normal. So.
Wow. At 14 years old, you're going through 14. A whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So you guys smoked meth then? Is that how you did it?
Yeah. Jiminy. And then like eventually we grew apart. Again, ended up getting divorced, moved home with my parents.
How old were you when you got divorced?
15.
Okay, so you guys were only together like for a year then?
Yeah. And then I moved home with my parents with Hernan and started living that party life. Telling my parents, well, you guys can't control me. You let me get married. Like, I've already had a baby. I'm an adult. Like, they tried to take the whip on me and be mom and dad at the time, but I wouldn't let them. And eventually I ended up meeting somebody else. But in between, like, that time of my party life and stuff, I was in and out of Hernan's life, leaving him with my mom and my dad, only taking stuff over to him, like, if he needed stuff. And then my sister eventually wanted him back, and I threw a fight. I put up a fight. I was like, no, I will get clean. I will do whatever, like, you're not taking my baby. That's how I felt.
Did your family know that you were a drug user at that point?
At that point, yes.
How'd they take that?
They cried.
Did
They
know
tried to get me help, but I just want to accept it.
Did they know exactly what you were on, or they just knew you were on something?
That I'm not for sure. But I remember lying to my dad because my dad asked me if I was doing meth. And I was like, no, Dad, I'm only smoking pot, because pot wasn't a big thing, So I remember lying to him about it. But I remember when he found my bag.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How'd you find your meth?
I left it in the bathroom. Yeah. And I was in the room looking everywhere for it. But it was like on the bathroom counter.
So what did your dad do when he found your meth at 14 years old?
Oh, gosh. He came in the room. I'll never forget this. He came in the room and he threw it at me. And he called me everything but his child.
And you were daddy's girl?
Yes.
How'd that make you feel?
I cried. And then I couldn't look at him. I remember calling my cousin and her friend to come pick me up. I lied to them. I was like, my parents just kicked me out. You need to come pick me up. And so I left their house crying, walking down the street because I didn't want to tell them what happened because I was embarrassed.
So you were still embarrassed about using meth and not like anybody else knew?
No.
You were pretty secretive about the whole thing?
Yeah.
At what point did you know you were addicted to meth?
The day that Hernan called me, it's kind of sad. He asked me to come to my mom and dad's house to pick him up because he wanted to go with me. And he wanted to go to the McDonald's in Twin to play on the toys. And I told him I'd be there. And I never did go pick him up because I was getting high.
Did you try and quit anytime?
I did numerous times. Numerous.
How were you, did you have a job or how were you paying for the drugs?
I hustled them, or I would sleep with people to get drugs.
At 15?
At 15.
Wow. That's a crazy life that you had in like the span of 2 years.
Yeah.
At what point did you start losing like the parent role with your family more than like now you're just kind of a roommate at this point?
At 15. 15 to 16 was like my worst year.
Well, even at 13, you said that like you were pretty much running the show, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it had to be even before that you were kind of like making the switch from daddy's girl to like the rebellious one.
Yeah, at 15, I think it got worse because my dad quit catering to me more, like quit like treating me like daddy's little girl. Put me on a schedule when I could go to their house. My mom would always call me and be like, if you're hungry, just come home. She'd be like, you need to get help. And I'd be like, you guys don't know me. Like, I would throw it up in their face like, you don't know what it feels like to bury a baby. My whole life I just wanted a baby. That's all I ever wanted, And I would throw that up in my parents' face there for a little bit. I threw it up in my mom's face when she tried to get me help one time with like a juvenile counselor, I blamed it on my parents that I went through everything. Like, you guys allowed me to do this. You guys let me get pregnant. You guys let this happen. And it's your guys' fault that I'm going through this, And I blamed it on them for a long time.
What do you think your parents could have done differently looking back now?
Put my ass in juvie.
At the first sign of you doing something?
Or beat my ass, like do something.
Were they more in like the friend role then than they were the parent role?
My dad was more of my best friend. My mom was always trying to be mom. But
so you would have put yourself in juvenile?
Yeah. There's times I look at my daughter now and I'm like, put her ass in juvie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think a little bit of structure would have helped then for sure?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Dang. So you didn't do any school then after that, and you're just working or just hustling, doing what you need to
Yep.
do to get your drugs and party life, and then what happened between like after you're 15 and 16 now? Like what's going on then?
I ended up we all moved to Jerome. My dad got a job out on a dairy in Jerome, so we moved out to Jerome. And at this time, I'm on juvenile probation for incorrigible and petty theft. And then I snuck out of the house and I met this guy named Juan. And at this time, Hernan's still living with us. Um, and ended up getting pregnant by Juan. And then my life kind of slowed down. He wanted like structure, you know. He took me and Hernan in, got us a house. I got pregnant with my second child, Juan Jr. And
At 16?
at 16.
And how old was the dad?
Juan was 18, almost 19.
Okay.
Yeah. But I was really scared. I was in denial that I was pregnant with Juan. I was like, how can I have another baby? You know, I was still using meth at this time. The first time he moved, I will never forget. I flushed all the drugs that I had in the house.
Oh, the first time you could feel him move in your stomach?
Yeah, the first time I felt him move in my belly. And then I knew it was real, that I was having a baby again. And
how far were you pregnant at that point to feel him move?
I was
that's
5 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he probably moved before, but I was just so high, I didn't, notice it or anything like that. And then Juan, I was using behind Juan's back, big Juan's. And he was an alcoholic. He drank a lot. Like having milk in the house is like he had to have beer in the house for him. And so I told him that, hey, I was using drugs, we need to make sure the baby's okay and everything like that. And I was seeing the same doctor that I seen with Edmundo. And I was very open and honest with my doctor. And he's like, okay, we just needed to monitor you, make sure the baby's okay. Like, I'm glad you're honest about this. And then when it came time to have Juan, I was really scared. But in my sick thinking at that time, I thought I was having Edmundo again. And when Juan was born, the nurses had to literally take him from me because they're like, you can't leave this hospital until you sleep, because I was so scared of him dying. So they sent me home with an AMP monitor to put on him, so like if his heart stops or anything like that. Juan probably had it very hard being born because he was constantly held, constantly on that machine, constantly being woken up like every hour, making sure he's breathing and stuff like that. And bless Hernan's little soul, like he literally woke up with me around the clock when Juan was born and made sure that his brother was okay.
Wow. How long did it take you to process that wasn't your first kid? And just like get more into like a normal groove of things?
After Juan turned 5 months, after he broke that 4-month marker.
Yeah. How was that, the whole 4 months getting to that point though?
Very stressful. I had like no time to cook dinner. I had no time to do anything. I made Big Juan make sure that there was food cooked for Hernan and stuff like that. Made sure that he cooked his own food because I was constantly staring at baby Juan the whole time, making sure that he was okay.
How was he born? Healthy?
Yeah, it was 6 pounds, 15 ounces.
Didn't have any like withdrawals or anything then? Because you
Nope.
that 4-month stretch that you had stopped was good enough to.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a blessing.
Yeah, he came out screaming.
Yeah. So after the 5 months goes by and you start to get a little bit back into like a normal groove of things, how was that for you?
It was good. We started like living the family life that I've always wanted. Going to the parks, doing stuff, taking Hernan out to like the Beale kiddie pool, spending time with baby Juan and stuff like that. And then I was sober all the way from the time I was like 5 months pregnant to Juan was like 8 months old. And then I relapsed again.
What was it that made you relapse?
I don't even know. Oh, it was the death anniversary. It was May 31st. I remember that. And I got drunk. It was the first time ever drunk in my life. And it
Oh, you were
just,
just all hard drugs before that then, never
yeah,
drinking?
never drank. And then eventually led to meth use again
How far after the getting drunk part? Same night?
the same night.
Oh, wow. And then what happened? Was it just downward spiral from there, or?
Yes. I ended up moving in with my brother David and his wife Randy, and Big Juan and Little Juan were there. And I became the abuser in my relationship. I started like abusing Juan, like mentally and physically, to get my way. I wasn't working, but I wanted that money so that I could support my addiction. And Juan seen that, and so he's the one that asked my brother if we could move in. Um, the state ended up taking Juan from us, but not Hernan, because Hernan wasn't yet like technically fully our child at that time. And
Did you get CPS called on you or something, or?
I did. Well, the cops got called because I beat up Juan. So I went to jail for battery. CPS came. They ended up removing my son from us. I remember sitting in the county jail calling home, and they told me I couldn't talk to Juan because there was like a no contact order for me going to jail for beating him up. So I talked to my sister-in-law. My sister-in-law told me, she's like, you need to get your shit together. Like, they just took your baby. And I lost it. So I got sober long enough for the shelter hearing, and we had a great case manager, and they let baby Juan come back home to us 2 days later. And I was secretly doing my addiction. I learned how to fake UAs at that time. Still
Were you a
using.
juvenile at this point?
I was.
So you went to juvenile corrections when you got arrested, or were you still in the
No,
county
they
jail?
held me in the county jail
Oh,
in
really?
the pink room all by myself.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
wondering where you would go as a minor.
Yeah. It was Jerome County.
Dang.
Yeah. It was scary too. I was like, I'm so young.
Yeah.
And I tried to play that card with the cops, but they were not having it.
Yeah, they're probably
Yeah.
not going to have it
Yeah.
from someone that's doing meth
They more
at
like
16
laughed
and
in
married
my
at
face.
14. And yeah.
Yeah. I was like, whatever, dude.
Did they know you pretty well then at that point?
Yes.
I mean, you were a
Yeah.
frequent flyer
Yeah.
getting called on. So you getting your kid taken away from you from CPS, you were still, that wasn't enough for you to give up on your addiction.
No.
How were you faking a UA?
Embarrassing. I would have like someone pee in a pill bottle, or I would go to Churchman's. There was this place called Churchman's in Twin where you could buy fake urine, and I'd just warm it up, take it in, go UA.
Really?
Yeah.
And they never caught on, huh?
No.
How long did that go on for?
It went on all the way up until 2019.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Jeez.
Yeah.
So you got your kid back then.
So I got our son back. Started living the normal, healthy life again, with me still using behind their back. But I considered myself as like a functional addict, where like, oh, they don't know, you know. And so I got pregnant with my third child at the time, Yosef. And he was a hard pregnancy. There was complications. I'd go in 1 month and they said that he's growing just fine. Then the next month he's not. And then I have a rare blood type, and they said it's like kind of hard on your third child. It can hit worse, you know. So they end up having to give me like a shots strong for me to carry a baby. And I kind of like disconnected myself with that pregnancy because I was really scared that it was going to happen again. You know, what happened to my first son.
And how old were you in this third pregnancy?
I was 17.
Okay. So back to back on the two.
Yeah, they're 10 months. Let's see. Joseph's 19, Juan's 21. So they're about a year and a half apart.
Okay.
And so I kind of disconnected myself for a little bit. And then when I was like 5 or 6 months pregnant, the doctor's like, okay, he's measuring good, everything's going good. And then when I got 8 months pregnant, they're like, okay, it's not going good again, you know. So it was just a scary pregnancy. And I was still using
Okay, yeah.
yeah, I was still using up until 6 months pregnant. I remember Googling, you know, when will your baby test positive for meth after you have them? How long do you have? I remember Googling that. And so I gave my time that much time to get sober. So, and at this time also, I'm doing a drug and alcohol recovery program because of my CPS case plan and still passing all my UAs. I'm getting ready to commence this program. Um, I remember Health and Welfare telling me that after the baby's born, if he tests clean, they're going to close out my CPS case. And so that was another reason why I needed to get clean, because I could clean myself, but how am I going to clean my unborn child? So I was really scared when he was born, but I ended up having him early. He was premature. He had lots of health complications. He was just a little guy. He had to come up to Boise. At this time, we're still living in Twin. He was up here in Boise, and I really disconnected myself then. And the nurses thought my mom was his mom instead of me being his mom, because I was just scared of getting close to him. But after he passed that 4-month marker, that's when I got close with him too.
Yeah.
He tested negative, and so they closed my CPS case plan. And I was like, whew, got off on that one, you know, I could continue using. And so then at this time, he sees a different in my pattern. Like, I'm wanting to hang out with my cousins more. I'm wanting to go to like clubs and stuff, leaving him at home with the kids. And I'm trying to look him in the face and like, I'm not doing drugs. He would accuse me all the time of doing drugs. I was like, if I do drugs, you'll know it. I'll do it in front of you. But I was really doing them. And so it was really hard. Juan ended up getting deported. And I really lost it then. Like, there was no hiding my addiction from anybody. Like, it was a really bad addiction. And I lived in Buell at this time. Well, then CPS came again. And they removed both of the boys, all 3 of the kids from me at this time, Hernan, Juan, and Yosef. And they went into foster care. And I didn't show up for that first court date. My parents did. My mom was able to get all 3 boys, but she had to, you know, fight for it. And then I'm just heavy into, at this time I'm using heroin now.
How'd you get introduced to heroin?
Just living in Jerome, being around different crowds of people. And I remember sitting at the party and they're like, you want to try this? I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's try it. And the first time I used it, I was hooked.
How'd you do heroin?
I slammed it.
Is that the first time you've ever used a needle?
No.
I feel like that's so scary. The needle part. I don't know. I mean, they're all scary at that point.
So they didn't explain it to me at first, and then like after I'm doing it more, this guy, he's like, "Are you trying to kill yourself?" I was like, "What do you mean?" And that's when he like sat down and told me about like air bubbles and stuff like that, and I was like, "Oh, no, I didn't know any of this. I was just doing it the way I was taught, you know?" Yeah.
What was it like the first time that you used a needle versus like smoking it? I feel like that's such a huge step.
I passed out. Like, they said I was probably so high that it was just too much and I passed out. But when I woke up, I was on a good runner for quite a few days.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's that like when you can't sleep for days?
Crazy. It's nonsense. I don't even know how people do it anymore. Yeah.
That's wild. But heroin makes you go to sleep, right?
Yes. So I would slime meth a lot, and then I would take heroin to calm down. Like when I had to go see my family, I would do heroin so that it looks like I'm tired and I'm just beat from a job that I never had.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, you'd have to look like you're just beaten.
Yeah.
I mean, not sleeping for so long and your eyes are, yeah, that's crazy. So are you even an adult at this point?
No.
Wow.
I think I told him I was working at like Dairy Queen or Burger King or something. I don't remember, but it was some fast food restaurant that I've never worked at.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you don't have any of your kids now at this point, and
Yeah.
your parents have all three of them.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just living in Jerome. My kids are with my parents. My mom did lean the rules a little bit because I wasn't supposed to be at her house to see the kids without like supervision and stuff like that until they got full legal guardianship. And it was kind of a little harder with Hernan because I had full legal guardianship from his mom. And so at that time, we couldn't contact his dad because we didn't know where his dad was at. His dad was deported. We didn't know anything. So my parents had like to put up another fight to get full legal guardianship of Hernan as well. So it was like a big process, but it ended up working out. And so I would go over, see the three boys, do stuff in and out of their life, made sure they had what they needed, you know, whether it be dirty money or whatever. But I took them stuff, you know, made sure that they had stuff. Ended up getting pregnant with my fourth child at this time, but I'm just bad on heroin. I quit doing meth I was like, oh, meth's the dirty drug. Like, who wants to do that? And I didn't even remember my water breaking with Alex. When he was born a full-blown addict. They removed him right at birth from me. I had 3 hours with him. They removed him right at birth. And he went into foster care, and he was eventually adopted. I tried to get clean and sober. Then they quit weighing me as urine and wanted to do mouth swabs. And I could never pass a mouth swab.
They knew you were faking it at that point?
I think so.
Were you getting UA'd the whole time that you were pregnant with your child that was addicted at birth?
I didn't go to the doctor. I only went to the doctor once with him.
Oh, so you weren't doing any checkups or anything?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Nope. And I estimated that I was probably going to be due in June, but I had him in May.
What's that like going through a whole pregnancy without getting any checkups?
It was scary. But I was very disconnected with myself.
Was that one of the darkest times of your life then?
Yeah.
Wow. So you had estimated in June and it had come, was it full term in May? So you were just estimating a little bit off.
Mm-hmm.
So you just went to the hospital. That was going to be your whole plan the whole time, was just to go to the hospital to have birth, or were you going to do like a home birth, or what was your plan?
I didn't have a plan. I didn't know.
What about the dad at this point for this child? Because you said the other one had got deported, right?
Yeah. So his dad, Antonio, wanted me to get sober and stuff, but...
He obviously knew you were using.
Yeah. And he tried. He even told my mom and my dad I was using drugs, and I was like, I hate you. I don't even know why you're in my life. Like, why would you tell my parents? And like, now they're going to keep my kids from me forever. And yeah.
What did your parents try and do during this time that they knew you were pregnant? Did they try and get you into rehab or anything like that?
They did. They tried.
You just weren't really wanting the help.
I didn't show up when they told me to.
Mm. Oh, so they had made an appointment and everything for you to go?
Yeah. I would change my phone number on them. I would call my parents' block to see how the kids are doing. I also had a warrant out for my arrest at this time.
For what?
Failure to appear.
Okay. Yeah, because you're probably on probation and everything at this point, right?
And so I knew that when I went to the hospital to have Alex, that I was going to get arrested.
Did they arrest you then right away?
Yeah, well, they arrested me the next day, which was really weird because they're like, all right, here's your discharge papers, you know, and stuff like that. I was like, all right, I'm going to call for my ride. And they're like, all right, well, if my ride would have been there a half hour before, I probably would have left. But like a half hour later, the cops show up and they're like, we thought we were going to miss you, but you have a warrant out for your arrest. And I was like, gave them this whole different name of who I was supposedly was, even though I had my kid underneath Amanda, you know, like, yeah, that didn't go too well.
Did you get more charges for falsifying?
Yep.
Are you 18 at this point then?
I'm 18 now.
So now you're getting adult charges?
Yes. And I was booked into a regular jail cell.
Wow.
Yeah, it was scary.
Yeah, what are you thinking about that now? Now that you're an adult, you're getting arrested. You think you're going to go to prison, or like, what do you think is going to happen?
I thought for sure I was going to go to prison. I thought I was going to be charged with like my son testing positive and stuff like that.
Because that's what, injury to a child?
Yes. And luckily at that time, my mom had faith in me. She ended up bonding me out so that I could work this case plan and really get it together. They told me I was welcomed at their house. I could do all this stuff. It went good for a week, maybe. But it really got to me when I couldn't be mom to my kids. Like my mom and my dad were parents, and I couldn't tell my kids what to do or take them with me to the store or anything like that. So it became really hard on me. So I left.
Oh, you just ran away, or you
I
just
just
left
took
from?
off. Mm.
That's so much that you had to go through.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them were like your own choices, but still, like that's a lot to have to go through in the span of 3.5, 4 years.
Yeah.
So now that you're an adult, and you didn't get charges then, or what happened on the charges?
So they told me I was facing charges for injury to a child and falsifying information to a police officer and a failure to appear. And so I was like, oh, I got this time. I'll play them. I remember cheating my UAs to go to the Department of Health and Welfare so that I could see baby Alex. And I eventually got to meet his foster mom, who I adore to this day. She offered to take me to my classes. There was a couple times I didn't have a ride. And at this time, I'm sober. And I was like, I'd call her and she'd be there for me to give me a ride. She let me go to his physical therapy classes and stuff with him. And then ended up falling off the wagon again. Just couldn't do it. Like, it was just my addiction was stronger than my soul at that time.
What got you to go back? What got you to relapse?
Just being bored. I just hate being bored at that time, and staying at home. Like, my excuse was I was never a teenager. I went from a kid to a mom. And so I'm going to live my teenage life. Like, I know my kids are fine. They're taken care of. I'll always be in their life. And this is just the way I thought, And my kids are too young. They're never going to remember this. Like, we never have to speak about it to them. Those are like the thoughts that I had.
And so you're just gonna party it up,
Yep.
party up your 20s
Yeah.
or your teens and your 20s. Yeah. Was it really easy to find drugs in a small town like that? I mean,
Yes.
you've probably established connections over the last few years.
Yeah. And I had family members that were addicts too.
Oh. How much do you think environment plays a role in your whole drug life?
A lot.
'Cause I've always heard a lot of people say, like, if you want to get off of drugs or alcohol or anything, like just change your environment, like to go move to a different city, go, just change out so you don't know anybody. But
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you're really wanting to find it, you can find it, but still, it's not as easy.
Yeah. I remember going on a rider in 2009. It was after I already had baby Alex, and getting out and going to the courthouse and talking with Shannon, who is my baby mama, Alex's mom. I love her. And I told her that I was going to let them adopt him, keep him in that environment with him.
How was that to make that decision?
Honestly, it wasn't hard. It wasn't. I thought it was going to be harder than what it was. But after the talks and the bond that me and his mom grew, at this time, I'm still not really close to his dad. Like, I hardly seen Dave a lot. Like, I'd seen him when it was court time and stuff like that. But I really looked up to Shannon, and she shared her story with me. And it reminded me a lot of, like, what my kids were going through. And the way Alex just loved her. When I would have visits at the Department of Health and Welfare, even though he was still young, he didn't have that smile on his face that he would get when his mom walked in the door. And so it was a pretty easy choice.
Yeah.
at that time.
What did dad think about you giving your son up for adoption?
His dad was deported when I was pregnant with
Okay.
him.
So is there a lot of like immigrant workers in that area then? Because
Yeah.
I've heard you say like
Yeah.
a 3 of people have got
Yeah.
deported already. So okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that's got to be kind of a hard situation then, especially being a single mom then and not having an option to have your husband or
Yeah.
your baby daddy in the picture then because they just got deported. So
And I couldn't make the money that like we had coming in when I was married. And there was no way I could try to support kids on Subway wages or Arctic Circle or anything like that. So I would sell drugs to make money.
okay. At what point did you decide you were going to become a drug dealer then? Was that in your adult life then, or was that
It was
even
after
as
I was 18.
Okay.
It was after I did my writer. Hearing people saying, "Oh man, I made this much money, did this much money," and I was like, you know.
What was that like getting that connection to start selling drugs?
It was kind of scary. I remember going to the dude and I was like, "Hey, you should teach me how to sell this." And I caught on to it real quick.
What'd you start off selling?
Meth and coke.
Oh, coke. It's a party drug. That's a
Yeah.
yeah. Where did you do that? Just in the local Jerome area, or were
Yeah.
you running around different places too? Or?
At that time it was just like Jerome, Twin Falls, Buell,
Okay.
just little towns right there.
Did you ever have any scary encounters with being a drug dealer?
No.
It was all pretty chill.
Mm.
You never were like worried about undercover people or nothing?
No, I never thought about it until it happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You did sell to an undercover?
Yeah.
What happened there?
So I guess they had 2 control buys on me. And I was like, no, but yeah, they stuck.
So what happened?
To this person, to this day, I do not know who it was that I sold to. I have my suspicions, but I want to thank that person,
Yeah.
It was in Jerome, the first one that they said they got me on, is when I went to the park. And they could have got me for a lot more because it was a park right there beside the school.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. How much did you sell?
Just an ounce.
I don't know how much that is. It sounds like a lot though. An ounce of meth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be. I don't know because they usually go by grams, so
Yeah.
that's a lot.
13.
Yeah.
And then the second time, I think it was like a 30 sec. I was supposed to meet up with somebody and they were supposed to buy an 8-ball, but I can't remember who I was supposed to meet up with that day or anything like that. But I just gave it to him.
How long were you dealing drugs before you got caught?
Let's see. Probably from 2009 to 2015.
Wow. How much money do you think you were making doing that versus a regular job, like monthly?
A lot.
Really?
Yeah. Some of like the crazy stories that my kids tell me now, like, Mom, we always had everything. Like, I would show up with new cell phones in the middle of the night. I'd call them and be like, "Hey, is Grandma sleeping?" And they're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, come outside." And I'd make sure that they had new cell phones, getting them whatever they want. They had their own little cards. I'd set money up for them. Like, yeah.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you were still taking care of your kids just like under the table kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like you weren't, the grandma never knew that you were like
No,
helping
and when
them
she
out?
did find out, she'd be so mad. Yeah.
Because they weren't allowed to have cell phones or what?
They just weren't allowed to have contact with me without her there.
Oh.
She would just want to make sure that I was in the right mindset for the kids.
So between 2009 and 2015, were you in trouble at all?
I ended up doing almost 7 years in prison.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what got you your first felony to get you actually locked up?
Forgery
Okay.
and possession.
What happened?
I was staying with these people. They owed me money. So I made her write me every check that she had.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like just forcefully making them write a check to you?
And then they charged me with forgery. And to this day, like, I appreciate her because she even, during my sentencing, and she's like, "I don't want to see Amanda go to prison. She's just lost, She used to be a really good friend of mine. And it was all over $30.
Damn.
Yeah.
Were you high at that point in time?
Oh, yeah.
So you weren't thinking in your right mind?
Mm-mm. And at this time, I'm smoking pills, doing heroin and meth.
Oh, so you just escalated it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, wow. And you're feeling good because you're making a
Yeah.
bunch of money.
Yeah. So I thought I was like, ain't nobody could touch this,
Yeah.
you know?
So what was it like the first time that you got sentenced to go to prison?
It was scary.
Was that a rider?
It was a rider.
Okay.
So in 2009, it was a rider. My sister was already in prison at this time. So when I got there, like when I went through RDU, people were like, "Are you Rachel's little sister?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, we got you covered." And I was like, "Whew, thank God," you know? So I had it pretty easy on my rider.
Where was your rider at?
South Boise.
Okay. So what was that like going from Twin Falls and coming up to Boise then?
So I went from Twin Falls to RDU in Pocatello.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then from RDU, I went to South Boise.
What was it like going to Pocatello for the first time?
Pocatello was scary.
Yeah.
I remember walking in there and it was really scary. I was like,
That's a
oh
legit prison
my
versus
God.
like South Boise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there, my side bunkie, she was a lifer. And I was like crying, just got off the phone with my mom crying that I'm going to have to do 6 months. And people said that I could be there for like a year. And I'm like, no, the judge said 6 months. And I remember my side bunkie telling me, like, can you stop crying around? You could be like me and never get out. And I was like, do you know who my sister is? Yeah, it was pretty scary.
How long did your sister do time for?
She did at that time, I think like 8 years. She was down for 8 years.
Because you had her son then, right? That's a
Oh,
sister?
no, this is a different sister.
A different sister?
Yeah.
Okay. Did your sister that you had her son, did she do time as well?
Yeah, she's currently in prison right now.
Oh, okay. Dang. Yeah, Pocatello, I've never really explored too much in there besides like the intake area, but it seems like a legit, like it'd be scary first time going in there. I mean, South Boise seems pretty chill. If that was your first time going to South Boise, that's like a community center.
Yeah, so then when we went to South Boise, I was like, Disneyland? Like, what? No fences? You
Cats,
can play volleyball?
right?
Yeah, they had the cat program there.
Yeah.
At that time, they had the therapeutic community program, the TC program. And so, like, TC was one hall, timers were the other hall, and then, like, the little warehouse was the writer program.
Jeez. And did you do your 6 months then?
Yeah.
Just got in, got out, got it done. Did you learn anything on your rider?
No.
You were just going through the motions to get out?
I was just doing what they told me to. Matter of fact, I used to have my mom order me packages, and I would pay a girl with packages to do my homework for me.
Really?
Yeah. It was bad. I can't tell you one thing about an MRT program. Because I never once opened the book except for, I remember I wrote like stuff on my hand when I had to do like a certain step to remember stuff. Yeah. And I barely passed it after I had to redo it 3 times.
So what'd you do to make your time go by during your 6 months?
Crocheted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty chill though. So you get out, you get your rider done, didn't learn anything. How much longer till you get back in trouble?
So from 2009, I got out. I was only out for 4 months before I went and did my 7 years.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Were you good for like 4 months, or was it just like you just didn't get caught for 4 months?
I didn't get caught for 4 months.
How long before you got out of prison did you just get right back to what you're doing?
The next day.
Really?
Yeah, I called my ex and told him I was out. And like, why didn't you answer me when I was gone? Blah, blah, blah. And, you know, and I get it why he didn't, because he was my drug dealer, you know what I mean? So he came and picked me up. And then my parents never seen me again.
Oh, so you were dating your drug dealer?
Yeah.
Okay. Pretty easy to get drugs then.
Yeah.
Dang.
And then I went back in. They gave me county discretionary time because they had like so many days to play with or whatever. And so I got out so from 2009, I went in the middle of it, got out in the August 8th of 2010. And then I did some discretionary time in between that time. And then I found out I was pregnant with my 5th child at this time. And probation didn't care. They arrested me still and sent me to prison.
What'd they arrest you for?
PVs.
Oh, okay. Were you supposed to have any contact with your ex-boyfriend since he was a drug dealer or anything? Did they know?
They didn't know that.
Okay.
Yeah. All they knew is he was a supportive guy for me and healthy and yeah.
What was your PVs for? Not checking in or what?
Yeah, not checking in, missing UAs. I used to lie and say, well, I don't have a car. How am I supposed to get there? You know, come UA me now or send me to the hospital. And so I started cheating my UAs again.
Dang.
Yeah.
Buying that fake urine?
Yeah. Well, at this time, I knew I was clean. And so I like saved my own urine in like a 20-ounce Mountain Dew bottle. And I froze it in the refrigerator, in
Oh,
the
wow.
freezer. And so then I would just like unthaw it when I needed to do it. And yeah.
That's some dedication.
Yeah.
So what was it that got you caught after the 4 months?
They showed up at my brother's house. So my mom lived like 2 houses down from my brother's house. And they showed up and they're like, I didn't have a warrant or anything like that, but they came with a mouth swab. And they mouth swabbed me and I came back positive. So they went ahead and arrested me. The 3 boys were outside my mom's house crying because they didn't want to see me go in. I remember Hernan telling me, what about Alex, you know? And I had never told the kids at that time that Alex was adopted, that he was already adopted. They hated me. They hated me for a long time. I think the hardest child that was really hard on me was my son, Juan. Yeah.
Were you guys starting to develop a relationship in that 4 months you got out?
Yeah.
And you probably made him promises that you weren't going to go back?
Yep.
Man, addiction is a beast.
Yeah. So I ended up having my daughter in prison.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. My mom came and
So
picked
when
her
did
up.
you? How long were you in prison for before you had a baby then?
9 months. I
Oh.
found out I was pregnant like 2 days before I went in.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So you did the whole journey in
The
prison,
whole journey.
pregnant. So what's that like, going get your checkups and everything? Because I mean, I know you still got to go do those, right?
So they did them right there in Pocatello. I wasn't allowed to like go to East Boise or South Boise at that time. My pathway, what they called it, was TC, and they didn't want me to start the TC program until after I had my daughter, because with my blood type, I'm high risk as it is. So they kept me there in Pocatello. So I just did the checkups there, ultrasounds, everything there, which is pretty cool about pregnancy in Pocatello. They give you an ultrasound once a month and everything like that. So
What's it like having a baby in prison?
different. I can honestly say that she is my first pregnancy, other than Edmundo, that I actually bonded with inside the womb. Like, I mean, there was no one around with distraction, nothing going on. I bonded really hard with her during just being in the womb.
Yeah, that was your second child then that you were completely sober the whole time, right? Yeah. Is it? I mean, it's got to still be pretty easy to get drugs in prison, but
Oh yeah.
But what was it that changed your mind on this time versus the other ones? Because you could have just tried to play the whole 6 months thing, and that. What was it that changed your mind?
I wanted to get out and be a mom.
What was your sentence they gave you?
4 plus 3.
Oh, so you knew you had at least another 3 years after the baby was born that you were gonna have to be in there. Jiminy.
And they passed me up at my first board because they gave me like time credited and stuff like that. They passed me up. Sorry, it was 3 plus 5. 3 plus 4 because it was a total of 7. So they passed me up, and then at that time, my parents told me that they were going to go ahead and take full legal guardianship of my daughter. And I like freaked out on them. I was like, why you just want my kids? Like, why are you doing this to me? Like, she's the one that's going to like change me to be a mom, you know? And so when I got out from doing that, she was already 5, almost 6.
Did she ever come visit you?
Yeah, my mom and dad brought her up.
Did she know that you were her mom, or was it?
How
did they introduce you to her when she was old enough?
As mom.
Okay.
But she just out of the blue called my mom and my dad, mom and dad, which was crazy because all the other kids call them grandma and grandpa.
How'd that make you feel?
I was jealous. I was very jealous. I had a lot of hate towards my parents for not correcting her.
Really?
Yeah. And then when I got out of prison, all the kids came and picked me up with my mom. I was like, okay, this is it. I'm never going back. And this is in 2015. I was like, I'm not going back. I'm going to do good for you guys. Like, let's be a family now. And I did do good for a while. I was sober, got with my ex, back with my ex, Junior. And let me back up. So when I got out, I did really good for like 8 months. And I went back to Jerome with my ex, Jorge. And then I ended up getting pregnant with Aaliyah. And then I just knew with Aaliyah that I didn't want to continue using drugs. I ended up coming up to the Port of Hope up here in Nampa. I had my friend bring me and got sober. Then went home to my mom's house. And Junior got out of prison and we got back together. Tried to live like the happy married life and stuff. And it was really going good for a while. I had a really good bond with my kids. Mine and Juan's was really rocky at first still. I could tell that I really hurt him. It was hard to like bond with him. He bonded more with Junior at first. So
Was he the one that got deported?
No.
Okay.
He was one of them, just like in between my times of running around the streets and
okay.
stuff. He was the first one I started sneaking out of my bedroom window with.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so Juan was really close with Junior, and Yosef was close with me. Like to this day, they call him a mama's boy, but it's okay. And so they got to stay the night with us, do stuff with us. And then after Aaliyah was born, me and Junior fell into addiction. Like it started with drinking, and then we fell into addiction again. And then we got sober again, found out I was pregnant with Promise, and stayed sober for a little bit until she was like maybe 5 months. Because it was only like maybe a month after I started using, after Promise was born, that the 2 girls were removed from me by the Department of Health and Welfare.
Dang.
Yeah. And then, and still at this time, like my bond now with my son Juan and Yosef is really strong. Like they got their sisters, they have their mom, they have a dad. We're all living, like they're not living with me, but they stayed weeks with me at a time. And after the girls were taken from the Department of Health and Welfare, my son ghosted me. Like he still lived at home with my mom, you know what I mean? He was still young, but he had nothing to do with me.
Your oldest son?
Yeah.
Is that pretty hard to deal with?
It is, and it still is when I look back on it. Like, I remember when Juan told me, we're standing in my mom's kitchen, and I was like, I love you, mijo, you know? And I'm sorry. And he's like, how can you be sorry? He's all, first my baby, first baby Alex, now my 2 sisters. Like, you don't care. And he stormed off with his little paddle or cell phone or something in his hands and just didn't talk to me. Yosef, who I call Boo Boo's, like, I started crying, just telling him I love him and stuff. And he was just like, it's okay, Mom. One day you'll get better, And it was just hard to, like, see my kids go through that at a young age. And while in this whole meantime, I'm stalking, the adopted parents' Facebooks, trying to get updates on my kids, trying to, like, share pictures with them. I remember one time sharing a picture with Juan, and he told me, he's like, why do you even care? He was just a hard one. I mean, he still is my hard child. Like, he will call it as he sees it to this day, which I love about him. But he just told me one time, like, you need to find yourself, And then I turned to addiction really bad after the 2 girls, because I fought a CPS case plan, and they got to come back with me for about 2 months, if I remember correct. Then they went right back into foster care. And Angie, who is their adopted mom, she's a wonderful woman. I love her. She's doing great with the girls. I look at her Facebook or her Instagram and stuff like that and just see how happy the girls are. And it makes me realize, like, I didn't do the wrong thing because they have a better life than what I could give them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any contact with them at all besides just the pictures you see?
I seen them once for the first time after 2019 at the fair. It was really good.
Oh, you just happened to see them there at the same time?
Well, we were walking by each other, and my mom and dad walked up to say hi. And Angie's all like, and Amanda's over there, and she's all like pointing for me to come over there. I was like, is it okay? And she's like, yeah. And she introduced me into the girls. They gave me a hug and stuff like that. And it was just.
How'd she introduce you?
As their bio mom.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
How was that moment for you?
It was sad, happy. I was more happy that how she introduced me, that she let the girls know at their age that they are adopted and that they do have 2 moms and stuff like that.
Man. Yeah, that's a whole different dynamic than a lot of people ever get to experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was in 2019, you said?
Yeah, 2019. 2019 was the last time I seen them. And that was just this last year that I seen them at the fair. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So what happened then after you would really hit back into your relapse phase?
So I got out from another writer. Within 2015 to 2019, I did 2 writers. And telling my kids I'm clean, I'm sober, I'm this, I'm that. This time I'm going to family functions, doing stuff with the family, but still using. I'm like, yep, I'm passing all my UAs. I'm doing the GEO program. Like, mom's got it this time, you know? Like, I'm not going to go back. I want you guys to see I'm not going back. And I ended up going back, doing a high-speed chase and stuff like that.
You were in a high-speed chase?
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
Stupid story. I went to the bank to go cash a check, and I seen a cop, and he wasn't probably even there for me. You know what I mean? But I knew I had a warrant for my arrest. Didn't want the family to know that. So I jumped in the car, and I spun out inside the bank parking lot, and then he got up behind me, and I wasn't stopping.
How fast did you get going?
They clocked me at 98.
Oh, my gosh.
In a cul-de-sac.
Where was that at?
In Twin Falls.
Whew.
I ran into some elderly lady's fence, and she was out there guarding when I ran into her yard.
Oh, my gosh. That could have been way bad.
It was scary.
So what they get you for? Obviously the
eluding
reckless
a police officer, reckless driving, a warrant out for my arrest, possession of fentanyl, possession of methamphetamines, possession of stolen property.
When did fentanyl enter the mix?
In 2019.
Was that like kind of when it started really becoming a prominent drug? I haven't really heard about that before. Really, I mean, right before COVID, probably.
I got my first. So, let me back up here. 2015, when I did my other high-speed chase.
Oh my gosh!
And I was on the freeway from Boise, and I ended up flipping the car and stuff. I got a charge of non-prescription or prescription something, and that was a fentanyl then. So I was messing around with fentanyl before it became like this huge thing.
Wow. So you've been in a couple of high-speed chases?
Yeah.
Dang. We just totally skipped over that part.
Yeah. This last one, I felt really guilty because I bought my son this Dodge Avenger. And I even went to his school. He's going to the deaf and blind school, Yosef. And I was like, look what mom got you. Like, this is your car. It's going to be yours. And I did a high-speed chase in it. And it got impounded.
Was that with drug money?
Yeah. Yeah.
Get nice cars.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, yes, like telling his home. He's like, look at what my mom bought me. Yeah. And I shattered that dream.
Oh.
Yeah.
So then that was how long of a sentence did you get for that whole thing in the 2019 chase?
I got 4.
Okay. Dang.
Yeah. I actually got out on bond, and I was like fighting my charge. So I was out for like a year and a half, still using, still doing whatever, running up amok, and then eventually just got another warrant out for my arrest.
You were trying to fight
yeah, my charges.
Yeah. Trying to say you weren't the one driving or what?
I don't know.
What was your defense for
I
that?
was trying to like fight for a lesser charge and try not to get like the habitual or the repeat offender and stuff like that. Yeah. I ended up going back to prison. And at this time, my son Juan has no communication with me. None. I remember calling his phone. I used to blow his phone up, blow it up.
From prison?
Yeah, from prison. And he wouldn't answer it. Then there was one night he did answer it. And it was more, he answered it for more like questions about him growing up than anything else. And he's like, okay, I got to go. I was like, cool. Love you too, you know? But the fact that he answered it that night meant everything. And I remember my mom telling me that he moved to Utah and he was going to go live with my little brother Daniel and my sister-in-law Ryan and graduate high school and stuff like that. He wanted to become someone in life. And I was super proud of it. And I didn't let me being in prison hold me back from seeing him graduate. So a girl that I looked up to in prison at that time, Jamie, she told me what steps I could possibly take to, you know, see Viva Zoom or anything like that. So even though Juan had nothing to do with me and probably literally called me by Amanda instead of mom at this time, I was still able to show up for his graduation Viva Zoom. My case manager and the warden set it up for me.
Was that from Pocatello?
No, I was at PRC at this time.
Okay. That's cool that they were able to do it for you.
Yeah. It was hard, like, you know, trying to get it set up and stuff, but it was so worth it in the end.
What did it mean to your son that you were able to do that?
Well, when I talked to him about it a while ago, I was like, hey, your mama didn't even miss your graduation, boy. And he's like, yeah, I know. You know, and he has like that little kid smirk on his face, like, yep, you know, so I think deep down, he doesn't like to talk on his emotions or express his emotions a lot. I think he was pretty happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Yosef, he still answered my calls, you know, everything like that. But I ended up moving to East Boise, and I got a job at Tent World. And seeing my son walk in through the Tent World doors, it was the first time I seen my son from 2018 at that time to 2024.
Okay.
Yeah, my son Juan.
How much time total have you done in prison?
Let's see, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. About 15.
Dang. And most of that was in Pocatello then?
Yeah.
You said you were, when we talked yesterday, you said you were a little bit more of a troubled person, like getting into fights and stuff?
I was.
Well, some of the crazy stuff that happens inside of a women's prison that people don't understand, because I've only seen, like I said, the intake part of it.
Women are crazy. Women are crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen like I've said on publicly a bunch of times, but the women's buses were the worst versus like the men's buses. So I can only imagine putting them all together and living together on a tier and how loud that would be. I'm sure it's loud.
Oh, it is. It is. Yeah, women are pretty crazy. We're pretty territorial. Yeah.
What's it like? Like, you guys, I know from the bus experience, it was not clean.
Oh, it's the most dirtiest place I've ever done. A county jail is cleaner than a women's prison, practically.
That's what I would think. Yeah.
Yeah. But we're also kleptos. You know what I mean? So we have to like have everything. So even though like our bunk area is clean, we have so much stuff we collected because that's all we have. Even if it was just a click pin, you know, like that meant a lot to us.
Yeah. What would you guys do in there? Was there like gambling and tattooing a thing, or was it is that just more like on the men's side?
No, we gamble a lot.
What do you like on sports and stuff or what?
No, like pinochle, hearts. Really don't play spades a lot, but yeah.
So, do you guys have gangs in there? Is there like a gang thing? I mean, I've seen some people with like the face tattoos and stuff, and like
that's more like the men's prison.
Yeah, but then there's no like
no,
nobody's clicking up or anything.
And there's a lot of tattooing. Like, I mean, I got mine covered up now that were my prison tats, but yeah.
Was it like legit stuff, or is it like just stick and poke?
Stick and pokes.
That was
A couple times we made one out of like a motor of a fan, but I got caught because I was dumb about it. I was writing a letter to my ex-husband because he's in jail, prison too. And I was like, explain to me like a motor fan, you know? And that's all I had to put. But when he wrote back to me, it like got, you know, through the mail and
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, they were just using the beard trimmers and stuff in the prisons.
Yeah.
Because that's like a straight up motor.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy.
Or like the nostril.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I got
now
to
they make their pin with it.
Yeah, I got to a point where I just stopped taking the whole thing because they would just be able to put it back together in like 2 seconds. I would just take their needle instead, like the more inconvenient part. Because I'm like, you guys would just be able to order this on commissary for another $30 or whatever.
Well,
so
now you can only order one. If it breaks, it breaks. You have to send in your old one. And
Oh,
then
really?
show that it really broke.
Oh, well, I guess
Yeah.
they're catching on. Because it used to be
on.
really cool when people would, you'd catch a tattoo motor because they usually have to find like,
Ink. Needle.
well, yeah, they would, but they would take the motor out of like a PlayStation 2 controller or something that like the vibration or, it was really cool when they were really creative and they made them out of magnets and it would like, but those would be really loud versus like the rotary motors now. It was funny too because then some people would try and make ink and then they would smoke themselves out because they would catch stuff on fire because they were trying to get the soot and stuff.
That's what happened to me.
Really?
Yeah. I'll never forget that. We're on Unit 4 and I'm ag-segged at this time. And I went to go make one and it caught on fire. I was so scared.
How did you try and make it?
With the fan of the motor and then the electric razor. And then like trying to put stuff together, it started sparking. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm all screaming, help. So they're like the other girls and she's like, what are you doing? And I was like, girl.
So was fighting a big thing in there or is it just like more?
There is a lot of fights in there. It just depends like who's getting with whose girlfriend. More like.
Is it just a big old hookup scene in there?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's just dating everybody and there's just a bunch of drama.
1 week this girl's this person's wife. The next week they're divorced and they're married to this person. You know?
I heard that a bunch of times when I was like hooking people up for the restraints and stuff. And they were talking about their prison wife. And I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah.
I always wanted to ask, but I was too busy. But
yeah.
That's crazy. So do people actually go through with like the legal process and get married and everything?
No.
No?
Just prison wife.
So what does the politics of that look like? Does that just mean like you guys put like rings on each other and like everybody just knows?
They would like crochet or like, like needle and thread, like make little rings for each other or stuff like that.
How long does a typical relationship last in prison?
As long as they're on the same tier. Out of sight, out of mind when they move tiers.
Really?
Yeah, it's more like that.
Oh my gosh.
There's been a couple I've seen that's like lasted throughout the prison stay.
What's it like for like a new woman going in there? Do they try and like are they nurturing? They try and help them out, or is it kind of like just fend for yourself?
Women are. They're very nurturing to each other.
Is there anything that's like, in the men's prison, obviously they look out for like sex offenders and things like that. Like it's a no-go, like a fight on sight kind of thing, right? Is there anything inside of a women's prison that it's like, that's just absolutely not a crime that is okay, and they're like automatically exercised or whatever, like child harm or anything like that?
So I was a victim of it too. Like we would bully those people, make it very hard for them, or like if this person ratted on me from the streets, like they're coming on my tier right now. So then like a lot of us would like group up and
just like bully the person, make them want to like
flight on them.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Dang. Like meet in the showers kind of thing. Dang.
Like this person fell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was always wondered. I mean, because my vision of like a women's prison is definitely a lot of drama and stuff like that. But I'm sure that they would still have some kind of ground rules or things that they just are not acceptable. Like, like I think about, I guess like more of the death row people that they've killed their kids on purpose, or like the couple that I know, Robin Rowe and the other Lori Vallow chick or whatever, right? Like obviously, but they're separated. So I just didn't know if there was. Obviously, like, ratting out would be, especially if you see the person. Yeah. But, like, to be known as a rat or something. But in women's prison, I would feel like they're very catty and they would, like, be snitching on each other all the time.
They are.
So, like, to like, to pick on someone because they snitched is like, I remember just being on the bus and people would tell me stuff all the time. And I'm like, I'm not even at your facility. What do you, you know, don't make me write paperwork, but whatever, you know?
Women are crazy.
What about the whole relationship side in there with like the COs and stuff? Is that as prominent as like it's coming out in the public right now? Or is that like some people know about it, some people don't? You have to kind of look for this kind of thing, or?
It just depends. Like, depends on the officer and the inmate.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I had one inmate, and she disclosed some stuff to me, and then that was the only time I ever had to write paperwork on another officer in my whole 10-year career, was because it was at East Boise, and she had told me that there was like some different favoritism going on, and I was like, I went up to my sergeant, and I was like, hypothetically speaking, if someone told me hypothetically, I kept saying hypothetically, he's like, write the paperwork, man. I was like, fuck.
Yeah. It just depends. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's officers that did favors for me, you know what I mean? But not to like sexual favors or stuff like that. You know, like I remember a cop let me use the cell phone a couple times.
Yeah, that's definitely against the rules for sure.
Yeah. I remember him like letting me make phone calls whenever I want.
How do you
me tobacco?
Really?
Yeah.
Was that like a work center, or was that like while you were in Pocatello? Wow.
Pocatello.
How do you spot like the officers that you know will be able to compromise, or the ones that are just black and white that you know that you're not going to get anything pulled over?
The ones that like you know you can't get over are like those stern, mean looking ones like, bitch, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
But like the ones that are always joking it around and doing stuff like that, you can always maneuver your way in.
Mm.
I think women have an easier way than men do.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they definitely have a way of getting what they want. I remember they would try stuff on the bus all the time. It was like, hey, we play this song or whatever. Like they would just start trying different little things. I'm like, no, like I'm not a DJ. Like, I play what I want to play.
Yeah. But I remember you on the transport. You made me separate from my ex-husband.
That's what you're saying.
I was so mad at you.
You're the second person now that says they remember me on transport. That's funny.
Because he was like standing like right behind the cage, and he actually got up from a couple seats, and you're like, you need to sit down. And he's like, I'm just stretching out my legs, and then like I move seats, and then we're talking, and then you're like, I'm gonna put you up front, and I was like, I'm just trying to give this guy my sandwich, and it was all my ex-husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the last time I seen him, other than when I went and served him my divorce papers, but it was on that transport bus.
Yeah, the women were the worst on the bus. I tell this all the time. It's like, man, I would take like a full bus of dudes over like 16 females any day. It's the worst.
Yeah.
Like you can make 16 females sound like 40 real loud, real quick. Mm. And I told this on another podcast before, but some of the vulgar stuff, like when I'm sitting in the back officer's cage and I'm just listening to women talk, and I'm like, these girls are way dirtier than the guys I've ever heard talk. Like this is crazy. I think you wouldn't know that you're just listening to a bunch of women. You think you were listening to like a college dorm just talking about like, oh my gosh. Yeah. It's wild.
Women are crazy. And no filter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is astonishing. I was like, okay, this is wild.
But some of like the most amazing people I've met were in prison.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What's some of the best things that you've taken away from your time in prison?
This time my sobriety, my grief and loss class, learning how to love other people. Because all the other times I did time, I was just a very ugly person. And I think that a lot for me to love myself as I do today has a lot to do with JC. She's my niece, but she's my daughter. She's my soul daughter. Just the way that she loves herself and carries herself. And yeah, her past is nowhere compared to mine. You know what I mean? Like she's a little angel, you know? But she's been through some stuff too. You know, not typically her, but like in a relationship where she's dealt with someone in prison and stuff like that. And she's really taught me to love myself and accept who I am today.
How was that grief class for you?
It was hard. It was like a 6 to 9 week program. It took me 14 weeks to complete it. But hands down to Mr. Donahue. If it wasn't for him, like showing me that class and getting me the help that I need, Because this time when I went to prison, I really didn't focus on my drug and alcohol problem. I was like, I know I have that problem, but what is it? And I remember Angie, my girl's adopted mom, telling me, it's probably your mental health. Like, you need help with mental health. Like, they need to stop sending you doing this and that and that. She was like, it's mental health. And so this time when I was down, I was like, I'm going to take some people's advice, and I did a little soul searching the last 2.5 years that I was locked up. Because the first 2 years, it was horrible. I didn't give a shit about nothing. All I cared about was money in my books. That's all.
The first 2.5 of your 4?
Yeah, of this time. So I worked with that grief and loss class individually with Mr. Donahue, and took a lot out of that class.
Those first couple of years that you just didn't care, what was it that switched your mindset that you wanted to do better, and then eventually you were able to go to work centers and stuff, so you had to start proving yourself or dropping your points or something, right? Like,
yeah. Honestly, I think it was a phone call home to JC. And I was talking to her, and she was just telling me, like, how much God loved me and that he forgives me and that I'm not this person that I let society think I am. Like, she just told me, like, how life could be, sober and stuff. And I remember at this time her mom barely had passed away. And so I was just listening to her, loving on her. And then she told me, she's like, just try it. If it doesn't work, then whatever. She's like, just try it.
Just try what?
Just try, focusing on something else other than drugs and stuff. And so I told her I would. I gave her my word.
So for the first 2 years that you were in, you were still pretty heavy in drugs on the inside?
Yes.
Man, it's crazy because, like, people just don't realize how apparently easy it is to get drugs on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of people have said it's easier to get drugs on the inside than it is on the streets.
Yeah.
Which is wild to think about because you have so many more, or you're supposed to have so many more, like, steps you got to get through. Obviously, you're inside of a closed facility. And
yeah, it's easy.
Yeah. I remember, like, the Suboxone thing was a big thing back then, but that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy that it's just so easy. So what was it like then for you to make that switch?
It was kind of hard because I was still at the PRC North Dorm. And I was like, oh God, working at Zirocco. And like, I would just hear like myself with the promise that I'd make to JC, like, no, got to do it like this. It was just like 3 months, I think our promise was for. And, so I just kept like living like that way every day. And then it just eventually became easy.
Yeah. So you're sort of setting small micro goals along the way
Yeah.
rather than like looking at a big 3-month goal, just making it to the next day. Or...
Yeah. Yeah, there was no way I could focus for 3 months ahead.
Were you getting tempted a lot by like your peers and stuff to want to use during that time? Or were they pretty supportive of you saying you're good?
They were pretty supportive. I mean, I'd still make money. I didn't use, but I still made money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were just dealing still?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but then you just weren't using your own product at that point.
Nope. And then I just eventually just stopped.
How were you getting it to deal?
Easy ways. Like people would send it in, throw it.
Oh, you said PRC. Is that a Siki?
Yeah.
That's
Siki.
the second building, right? Not North Dorm? Okay.
The second building.
Yeah, no, you guys are going in and out of that front gate all the time. So, yeah, it checks out.
Yeah.
And you guys go off site too, right?
Yeah.
On the PRC?
Yep, we would work at Zirocco.
Oh, yeah, that's easy
then.
You're picking apples and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Or the orchards?
Yep. Or we'd work at AAP.
Where were you working at? Were you working at the PRC or?
Yeah, I was working at All American Publishing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're going off site, that's pretty dang easy then at that point.
Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you're supposed to get pat down, but, I mean, that's, the officer's got to pat down like 30 people at a time. I'm sure he's not doing the most thorough pat down, so. But.
And you always knew what day because depending the shift.
You always knew what day, like
that you're good to come in.
Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah. So you were still making your money, but you just weren't using it anymore. And then at one point, did you ever stop dealing?
Yep.
And just completely went?
Just completely stopped.
Did you have some angry customers when you were done?
No.
Somebody else took over for you?
Yeah. I mean, I remember like being in that little cube and I got on my knees and I prayed. It was the first time I got on my knees and prayed. And in prison, because I didn't want people to see me like as that person. And which I've always believed in God, but he was always a timer. I left him there at the door with me. And so this time I was like, God, like, I just want to reunite with my kids, all of them if possible, like, I want a different lifestyle. I want this. And I just remember waking up the next morning and feeling like a piece of comfort. And they moved me to East Boise that day.
Really?
Yeah.
So God had always just been with you while you were in
Yep.
as a timer. But as soon as you would get out, then you would just not feel like you needed him in your life anymore.
I'd leave him at the prison door and be like, I'll be back, more like, but yeah.
But this time was different.
It was way different.
Did you start going to any like church classes or anything, or?
I did. I went to the women's recovery program, where I met Jamie at, and her soul is just so beautiful, and I wanted to be more like her, And then when I got to East Boise, you can go like off-site to church, and so I started going off-site to church and stuff with them. But you have to be there like a certain period of time before you can start doing that, and so I started doing church more often.
How did that change your life then once you started bringing faith into it?
It changed it a lot. Like I said, my bond with my kids are now strong again. And I don't have to tell them anything that I'm doing today with my life. They just see it. And I reunited with my son that was adopted at birth. He now lives at home with me. So things are just going. I have a great bond with Hernan. I'm allowed to be in his kids' life. I'm a grandma. So I have a grandson and a granddaughter. And then JC's kids call me grandma as well. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
What was it like getting reunited with Juan for the first time?
Nerve-wracking. Yeah.
How did that come about?
He came into Tent World and got his windows tinted. And then there for a while, he didn't like answer his phone or anything like that. But
did he know that you were working there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then I divorced Junior and got remarried to my husband that I'm married to today, who I love so much.
Didn't you say you met him while you were at a work center?
Yeah, I met him at the work center. Yeah. I knew he was married too. I know this is so wrong. I knew he was married, but I didn't know that they were actually like married and having a relationship. Like I know that the relationship was very rocky and stuff. So, and my marriage obviously was rocky. My husband and I were in and out of prison together, off and on in our kids' life, never had stability or anything. And when I first met Kent, I knew he was the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys have similar backgrounds?
We do.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you said that you had actually pulled out to his house or something, said he was just a coworker.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Pulled him.
Yeah, because you're not supposed to have a relationship while you're on at a work center, obviously.
Nope.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, I don't care what we got to do. We're going to make this work, okay? I was like, we're not losing each other. Like, I've just never felt so at home with someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was it like when you got out then after your 4 years? And so you went to board and they said that you're going to get a date?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was nerve-wracking because then I was approved for the expanded furlough program. I got out of prison 4 months earlier than what I was supposed to. I'm like technically considered an inmate still. So I had to check in with my PO weekly, but every morning do a phone call, every night do a phone call. And yeah, it was stressful, but I did it.
What's it like being on probation and having unannounced checks?
Sometimes I forget I'm on parole. Before I was always scared, like, what am I doing? Like, who's coming over?
Because you had drugs?
Yeah. And then sometimes now I'm like sitting there and I'm like, oh shit, I'm still on parole, you guys. Like, I got a curfew. I got this. I got that. Like, even though hands down to my parole officer, he's an amazing person. And working with him and like doing the mentor for IDOC and stuff like that has been really awesome. He doesn't have me on a curfew. I check in like once every 6 months with him. Like the other night when he showed up at my house so late, with some concerns and stuff, totally valid what he wanted to talk to me about, but wrong info. And it just felt good that he could just come in my house and he's like, can I look? And I'm like, yeah, go ahead. Like, whatever, Before I'd be sitting on my couch like this, like, oh my God, but yeah.
Is probation and parole really as hard as people say? Like, I talked to, back when I used to work at the prison, a lot of them would say, like, no, I just want to top out because it's too hard.
So I used to think it was very hard. I used to think parole was very, very hard. But it was only hard for me because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. This time with parole, it's easy.
Yeah.
Like,
as long as you got the right intentions, then it's gonna be easy. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what I would figure. I mean, it's not like they want you to go back. I mean, I've heard contrary belief that they want you to go back for money and stuff, but it's like they're already overbooked. They want you to stay out.
No.
So yeah, as long as you're doing the right intentions, it's pretty dang easy then, right?
Yep.
That's awesome. So what are you doing now with everything? You said you're in some kind of a mentorship program still, right?
Yeah. I do mentoring for IDOC.
And how does that work for you?
So there for a little bit, I was like drowning myself into it, like helping people, helping my mentees and stuff. But then I had to step away from it for a little bit because it became very overwhelming. And so I only have 2 girls now that I do. But I also drowned myself in it so much that I felt like I was losing focus with my children as well and doing activities with them or, activities at home like game night and stuff like that. So
didn't have a good balance.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So what do you do? What's your role for these mentors or the mentees?
Just when they're struggling with like addiction or anything, they can always call me. My number's there for them to reach out to me. I was honored being able to take a girl, pick her up in Richfield or Fairfield, and take her into a recovery program and stuff like that.
Nice. You had mentioned a little bit, like, just getting around Jamie, how that had changed you. How big of an environment do you think it is being around other people like Jamie, or now for these mentees to be around people like you to be successful once they get out?
Huge. Yeah, like just being around. I love Jamie. Just being around her and stuff like that. She's helped me. She's helped me open up about my relationship with my kids, who I felt would never find me or want anything to do with me or anything like that. She's taught me that we're not that same person. I feel like being a positive role model in other women's life can help them to be empowered to be a better person as well.
Yeah. So what's your advice for someone that's maybe been institutionalized, or they've been, most of their time has been in prison? They want to be a productive member of society when they get out. Like, what's the first few steps that they need to take?
Love yourself. Accept it. Just know that you're not that same person that went in, that you're the only one that can make that change.
What does that start with? Do you think faith or?
Faith. And for me, I can't be back down in Twin Falls. I had to change my whole surroundings this time. I won't live back down there. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I think environment is such a huge thing. I remember talking to one guy that was an alcoholic, and he ended up moving from Iowa to Boise, just a different military base. He said just that alone was enough to give him, the new start that he needed.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's got to be scary though. If you were living in Twin Falls your whole life, to make that switch and come live up here. I mean, that's got to be definitely out of your comfort zone, right?
Oh, it was. Yeah. Like at first, I told my husband, I was like, I don't know, like maybe we should think about moving down there, and stuff like that. But my kids reassure me every day, like even when we go down there on the weekends, like, okay, it's time to go home. Like, go home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that how's your relationship with your kids now?
Amazing.
The ones that you see on the weekends, is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Going down there?
Nice. Yeah. We'll FaceTime throughout the week and stuff too. Juan, call him Nano. We talk quite a bit now. When I go down, he usually lets me have my granddaughter for a couple hours, him and his wife, Serenity, or fiance, girlfriend, whatever you want to call her. They might as well be wives. Been together for like 8 years. They let me spend time with Halo like without them there. So it's a really good feeling because like coming from where me and Juan were when he was little, you know, we were inseparable to where we totally didn't see eye to eye to who we are today. It means a lot, a lot. And Boo Boo's, Yosef, I call him Boo Boo's. He has a son. He lets me spend time with him and his girlfriend. Um, it's great. Like, Juan, you know, was going camping for the first time with my granddaughter, invited me to be a part of it. I go down there and see JC. I'm actually going to go down there with her when she has her baby and spend time with the 3 girls while she's, you know, bonding and stuff and doing stuff with their newborn. JJ, my daughter JJ, our relationship is there, but it's still like a working progress because with her, I was never there, you know. So it's day by day with Jay. I love her to death. I love her to pieces. I love all my kids to death. And then having Alex in my life now, it's just hope for like to reunite with my 2 girls one day. Completely like I did with Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like my best advice for any parent that has lost kids to SIDS or, you know, any type of death or to adoption or to other family members is like, don't let that reason keep you in your addiction. Like, if you really want to reunite with your kids one day or be a better person, like, just remember you're not that same broken, lonely person that left them. Let them find you better. I remember a phone call with Alex. He's all like, you know, I thought I was going to have to find you in prison the day I wanted to talk to you. And he goes, and I would told you I have nothing to do with you if you were in prison. But I wasn't. I was sober, you know. So, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like you got a lot of great reasons to stay sober now.
Oh, yeah.
And you're, what, how long are you sober now?
5 years.
5 years?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yep. Cinco de Mayo.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So what's next for you?
I'm not for sure yet. I'm really trying to get started on like this group I want to work called AAP stands for Alex, Aaliyah, and Promise for my 3 kids that were adopted. I want to do like some type of core class. I started it a little bit with the Department of Health and Welfare. I want to do help strengthening families that like people who just get their kids taken away from them and use that excuse like, why get sober? We don't have our kids anymore. Like, well, you didn't have your kids to begin with and you were still using, because I was that person, you know, not once, not twice, but 4 times I was that person. And that's the same excuse I used. Or how am I supposed to get to class? Well, you went to any link to get the drug. So go to any link to get to the class, you know? So I want to do something like that to help other parents that have struggling with addiction, that have lost their children or have that, you know, are on that path to get their kids back, but just need that extra help with people.
Yeah, I think what you touched on there is really important, just of like having a strong purpose and a why. Like you said, like you would do whatever you took to get your money, to get the drugs or to do whatever you needed to do. Yeah. So like if your reason is strong enough, then the what won't matter, you know?
Yep.
That's what I tell my clients all the time for like weight loss stuff is like if you got to have a strong why. Mm-hmm. Why are you doing this? Like you can't just say like, oh, I just want to be in shape. Like it's like I don't want to pass these generational stuff down to my kids, and so like I need to take care of it, because otherwise they're just only going to pick up on what I'm putting out. But I mean, yeah, you can use that same thing as like parents getting clean for their kids, or even if they don't have their kids, but there was, you can show them the hope of one day you can get them back. You just need to make these steps right now. Yeah. And then prove to them first, instead of like wait for them to give you your kids first and then get clean. Yeah. Because I think a lot of people probably just rely on, well, I'm not going to have my kid, or I'll get clean when I get my kids.
Yeah. But you weren't even clean to begin with, because I know I wasn't. That's why they took my kids, you know?
Well, I think it's powerful that you can be able to help them, because you can show them that, you've gone through this. It's not like you're just someone that's speaking from a book or a theory. Like you've actually lived in what you're talking about. So that's really powerful.
Yeah. I wasn't supposed to have any contact with Alex until he was 18, and it happened to be sooner. And like me and his mom, we co-parent so good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's awesome.
That's amazing. Well, I really appreciate you coming on here and telling your story, because I think there's so many people out there that can relate, and you know, you never know who might hear this story and it might change their life. So I really appreciate it, you being vulnerable and telling it all. And
sorry for crying.
no, it's great. I'm glad that you were able to come on here and, you know, find the Instagram channel, and we were able to talk, and you're local, so we can make it happen.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, thanks.
Yep.